In a world that often feels divided, uncertain, and filled with noise, Tony Robbins and his wife Sage stand together to deliver a message that cuts through all the chaos, a message simple in words but infinite in depth: love is the answer. When Tony speaks about love, he doesn't mean just the romantic kind that movies and songs glorify. He speaks about a love that transcends personality, culture, or belief, a love that heals, that connects, that restores faith in what we call humanity. Sage complements that energy with grace, reminding us that love isn't something you find, it's something you remember within yourself. Life has tested them both, moments of despair, of misunderstanding, of loss, and yet, through it all, they have learned that every challenge becomes an opportunity when met with love. Love disarms anger. Love softens pride. Love allows people to see each other not as competitors but as reflections of the same divine energy. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. The world today doesn't need more judgment, it needs more compassion. It doesn't need louder voices, it needs deeper hearts. When Tony and Sage share their story, it's not about preaching perfection, it's about showing that love, when practiced daily, has the power to transform not just one relationship but entire generations. Tony often tells audiences that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. But what he and Sage have come to realize is that fulfillment itself is born from love. You can build empires, you can make millions, you can become admired by millions, but if your heart isn't anchored in love, every achievement feels hollow. They have both spent decades helping people change their lives, guiding individuals through trauma, fear, depression, and loss, and through every encounter, one truth repeats: people don't suffer from a lack of resources, they suffer from a lack of connection. Love restores that connection. It's not about fixing someone, it's about seeing them. Love listens when the mind wants to argue. It forgives when the ego wants to fight. Sage explains it beautifully when she says, when you choose love, you choose to return to truth. It is a daily choice, not an event. Some days, choosing love feels easy, like a natural flow. Other days, it feels like the hardest decision in the world, especially when you feel betrayed, disappointed, or unheard. But those are the days that define your spiritual growth, the moments when love isn't a reaction, but a revolution of your soul. The journey Tony and Sage have walked together is not free of struggle. They've faced storms that could have broken many. But what makes their story profound is not the absence of pain, it's their refusal to stop loving even in the middle of it. When Tony speaks on stage about breakthroughs, what he's really describing is love in action, the willingness to see beyond the wound. Sage stands beside him, embodying the feminine force of unconditional acceptance. Together, they show that real love is not fragile, it's fierce. It's not something that fades with age or challenge, it expands with every shared trial. Love isn't a passive feeling, it's a practice. It's the decision to see light when darkness surrounds you, to believe in possibility when logic says it's over. They remind us that love doesn't remove pain, it transforms it. Every tear becomes wisdom, every argument becomes awareness, and every silence becomes an invitation to listen more deeply. The love they live by is not about avoiding conflict but about growing through it, becoming stronger, more conscious, and more compassionate with every turn of life's unpredictable path. Tony often says that the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. And Sage adds that the quality of your relationships is determined by the depth of your love. Together they've learned that love is not measured by how long you've been together, but by how present you are for each other in every moment. It's not the number of days but the amount of truth shared, the willingness to grow, and the courage to be vulnerable. Vulnerability, as Sage reminds us, is not weakness, it's the birthplace of connection. Many people build walls to protect themselves from being hurt, but in doing so, they block out love itself. Love requires openness, trust, and surrender. It invites us to let go of control and allow life to flow through us rather than against us. Tony's unstoppable drive and Sage's intuitive grace create a harmony that demonstrates how masculine strength and feminine wisdom can merge to create something divine. Their message is not about being perfect lovers but about being evolving souls, constantly learning, forgiving, and rediscovering each other with new eyes every day. There was a moment during one of Tony's seminars when a participant broke down, confessing years of anger toward his father. Tony didn't give a lecture on psychology. He simply asked him to recall one loving memory of his dad. The man struggled at first, but then tears poured out as he remembered his father teaching him to ride a bike. That single memory cracked open a floodgate of forgiveness. That is love. It's the remembrance of truth beyond the story of pain. Sage calls it coming home to the heart. When we choose love, we choose freedom. We stop waiting for others to change and instead decide to live in peace within ourselves. Love doesn't erase the past, it redefines it. It allows you to see that every experience, even the painful ones, were guiding you back to yourself. This is what Tony and Sage want the world to feel, that love isn't out there waiting to be found, it's inside, waiting to be remembered. Sage shares that love grows when you water it with gratitude. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into sacred ones. When you appreciate your partner, your family, or even the smallest act of kindness, you multiply love's energy in your life. Tony adds that gratitude and love cannot coexist with fear, they dissolve it. When you are grateful, you are grounded in abundance, not scarcity. You stop asking, "What am I missing?" and start saying, "What am I blessed with right now?" That shift changes everything. Sage believes that every act of love, no matter how small, ripples across the universe. A smile, a gentle word, a simple act of kindness, they all matter. When we live with love, we lead with light. That's the energy that can heal not only relationships but nations. Tony and Sage have often said that love is not something you fall into, it's something you rise into. Falling is easy, rising requires awareness, courage, and commitment. Love calls you to become a better version of yourself. It invites you to heal the wounds you've been avoiding, to forgive the people you've been holding hostage in your heart, and to release the stories that keep you from joy. Every time you choose love over fear, you rewrite your destiny. You step into a higher vibration that attracts peace, abundance, and miracles. Sage explains that love is the bridge between your human experience and your divine essence. Tony calls it the ultimate state of power because when you live in love, nothing can control you. You are free from resentment, free from fear, and free to give. That is the real success, the freedom to love without limits. And so, their message remains timeless: love is the answer. Not because it's poetic, but because it's practical. Love unites what fear divides. It builds where judgment destroys. It gives meaning where pain once lived. Tony and Sage Robbins embody this truth not as teachers above others, but as fellow travelers walking the same road, sometimes stumbling, sometimes shining, but always choosing love. They remind us that the greatest act of courage is not to fight, but to forgive. The most powerful form of strength is not control, but compassion. Love, they say, is the language of the soul, the one thing that transcends death, distance, and time. If you remember nothing else from their story, remember this: no matter how broken the world appears, love is always waiting to be chosen. And when you choose it, the universe opens its arms, whispering the truth that has always been there: love was never gone. You just had to